Okay, so this is known as the last cut. Make sure there are no rattlesnakes out here, because this Utah is known for it. I don't want no rattlesnakes. Man, imagine being out here back then. Nothing out here, no doctor, no safety.
Nations begin
but I'm sure they took care of themselves pretty well.
They suckle and struggle, they grow
Get bitten by a snake.
Toil, fight,
they know how to
suffer,
suck the juice out.
And so to the pavilion of the four winds came the little one they called America. One that suckled, toiled, lagged.
So this is the last cut. By April of 1869, Union Pacific was working on its Mormon and Irish Labor Forces Day and night in order to meet the scheduled deadline. Just like the show. Remember when they were talking to each other? For the completion of the railroad below is at least the last cut made along the transcontinental route. Cuts such as these were necessary to maintain smooth and steady grade and keep within 2% of the maximum rise. Mandated by the Pacific Railroad Act of 1862. The cut. Notice that the excess rock left over from the excavation, which is neatly stacked with the largest rocks on the bottom, stabilized the rock pile and keep debris out of the cut. So that was their rock pile that they built. That's what that is. They excavated it. They probably don't want you over here.
Well, they should have put a fence.
Don't slip. Anyway, that's the rock pile that they dug. I'm boinging over here.
Now, what was this for again?
When they're leveling out so they can build the tracks, they had to level it out, and that's what that is. The last time they exploded the dirt, dug down deep to straighten the valley out, whatever, I think that's what they're talking about. And those rock piles over there, that's their rock piles that they made. It's still there. Here's another little trail. Here's a little trail here. We are definitely in the West. Besides California, you can't get any more west than this. Okay. And there's the rock piles, I guess, that they dug up. It's too bad I can't get over there. I'd collect some of the rocks. But it goes for miles out that way. I guess that's where they dug that hole. Oh, that's amazing. Again, I'm in awe. You can actually see the cuts. That's what they mean by cuts. Inside of the rock where they were digging. And you can actually see the marks where they were chipping, chopping away. Especially over there. That's what that is that they're talking about. You can see them chopping away at the sides. If you go down closer, you can probably find pickaxe marks and things like that down there. I don't know if they hit it with dynamite or anything, but if you watch the show Hell on Wheels, that's pretty much most of this, what this is about. And there is a show where they talked about the Mormons, trying to ask the Mormons, Brigham Young, to loan his people to work for the railroad, and they had issues between them and the Irish, I believe. So it was a big brouhaha, and during the show, and of course then they had this whole season. I think it was second to the last season where they had deals with the Mormons. They had almost a fight between the two. So it was pretty good show. Of course, it can't last forever because the railroad didn't last forever. But there's more stacks up there and more down there where they cut through. And yeah, if I keep going, I can be going forever. But yeah, it just keeps going. And way down there is where in that direction is where the Union Pacific and the Central met finally. Is way in that direction down there. So it kind of leads that way and goes straight out there. And now to be careful because there could be rattlesnakes hiding in here. And different kinds of snakes. See, if you look over here, you can actually see in the rock where they were cutting. Right there. That is awesome. You can see the little square marks. So, yeah, that's awesome. Talking about history. Unfortunately, if you don't know about history, unfortunately the runner of the center of the Union Pacific, my head's kind of up with his name right now, because I'm kind of in awe watching all this stuff, because I love history. But unfortunately, what's his face was frauding the government, just like in the show, out of money for his railroad, the Union Pacific. He was taking money and not using it for the railroad. He was stalling and whatever he was doing with it, who knows. But as time went on, he kept taking the money and using it for his own personal gain or whatever he was doing it for. And he was frauding the government out of money and all that stuff. And then at the end of the railroad, when it was completed and there was an investigation done, turns out he was taking government funds when he shouldn't have been. He was stealing money. And it turned out to be, since they found out and that was going on and all this stuff happened, and he was busted basically for it. Because of all this happened, the stock market nearly collapsed, and that's what turned this country into an early Great Depression in the 1800s. So we were on financial economic collapse in the U.S. because of the fraudulent behavior of the Union Pacific and the owner, or the president at the time, Durant. So because Durant was frauding the government, people lost jobs, people lost lives, government collapsed. It was a horrible thing, but it was, I believe, was one of our first Great Depressions of the United States. Believe it or not, a lot of people didn't know that. So, yeah, Durant. And they kind of talk about it in the show, but you can see it in history books and stuff. But, yeah, he put this country in a huge turmoil for years because of the money he was taking and the collapse of the stock market. So this is considered the last cut. So they went through the ground and they dug up valleys and holes and cut through the rocks and stuff so it can go straight across. So that right there used to be the last railroad, and you can see down there where there's a tunnel underneath where the railroad used to be. You can actually see a tunnel where the railroad used to be down in there. I can't see it now, it disappeared, but it was over there somewhere down there. But they had a tunnel down there. I think it's right over there where it is. It's right down in there. But you can see where the rocks are. They cut right through the rocks. And it just went on and on and on. and led it over there where the Golden Spike is. So that used to be the old railroad. And you're surrounded by mountains and stuff. But if I can go down here without getting bit by any rattlesnakes, that's what I'm worried about. You can actually see all the way down there. And where those rocks are, I guess, is where it ends. It could go around, I don't know, but you see the hill, the actual hill, and how it goes around, where it cuts through the rocks down there. And back in 1869, 67, and it goes all the way over there where the Golden Spike is. But it cut, that's what they mean by the last cut. It cut right through the valley and wound up there. And if you look down there, you can see little tunnels, little like looks like caves down in there. I kind of wonder if there's bears or, you know, animals in there. I'm not gonna go down there and find out, but you can see little holes in the things. So yeah, wow, that is amazing.
I was trying to post on Facebook earlier, but it wouldn't let me go live. It's being a little punk. But there's more people coming. But the trail, there's a trail that leads down here. If you see the little trail where the tracks used to be. And trying to show you, maybe I can put this on YouTube eventually if I don't get stung by anything or hit by anything. But when you go down to this trail down here, there's a tunnel. Now I'm kind of worried about rattlesnakes, so I don't want to go too far down here. But if you see that little ridge line right there, that's where the tracks used to be, and it cuts through that valley right there. I just want to get around here, but I can't see with my stupid shades on. Yeah, just got to worry about snakes. But yeah, and then here it is. There we go. It cuts right down there, right through there. Yeah, there it is. So this used to be the old train track. It went right through this valley and cut right through here. And of course, the tracks no longer exist, but the rocks that they cut are still here. The stacks of rocks that they cut through the valley are still here. The last cut, I think I'll keep one of these rocks just for historical purposes, and I'll put it in my office. But you can see right through here where the tracks used to be, and it cuts through that valley right there. And what I saw was a tunnel, but I just can't seem to figure out where it is. I don't see it, but I saw it somewhere around here. Maybe it was down there or something. But yeah, and this is where the tracks used to be. If you walk along here, you can see it. But you know, it no longer exists, of course. This is 1867, 1869. Here's somebody was out here shooting a shotgun, probably hunting when you're not supposed to, because this is a national park. Yeah, 12 gauge. Yeah, they're out here hunting when they shouldn't have been hunting. So yeah, that's the trail. It goes all the way back this way. So I found it. There's a little cave right here, and I don't know what's in there, and I don't want to find out. But you know what's interesting? Here's a little boulder right here that I bet used to hide that hole. So, and it looks like there was something in there, sticks and rocks, so maybe they had a burrow or something. But there's a boulder right here that used to cover that hole. So I bet you back in the day they were hiding something in there. And it looks like something was piling rocks. So I don't know what's in there. I'm going to find out, but I just think it's interesting. That boulder there was covering that hole. I can tell by looking at it. Who knows? Maybe they were hiding gold.
Chinese arch made in limestone. Monument. Ancient Lake Bonneville once covered this area, including flanks of Promontory Range. It's called the Chinese Arch. Man-made structure.
It's not man-made.
It looks man-made.
That's what it said. It was formed naturally by the lake.
Oh, looks like it's cut. And I don't know what's in those
They may have, maybe they've done stuff to it.
down in there, and I ain't gonna find out what's in there. But there's a hole down in
It
here.
says it's man-made. Before you go take a picture.
I'm worried about rattlesnakes. All right.
So that's why you have that basement. It used to be a lake. Surrounded by water.
I don't think you'll see any homeless people hanging around here. Anyway, gonna walk back down in there here in a minute. But this is amazing. I've never seen anything like it. But it's like the wood was cut or something, or the stone, but it wasn't. This was naturally made.
Nations begin young, the same as babies. They suckle and struggle, they grow up. They toil, fight, laugh, suffer, die. And so to the pavilion of the four winds came the little one they called America. One that suckled, toiled, laughed, grew. America began young, the same as a baby. The little new republic had its swaddling cloths, its child shirt, its tussle to knit long bone joints. And who can read the circle of its moons now? And who shall tell beforehand the secret of its salts and blood?